It's time once again for another episode of Georgia Business Radio. Broadcasting live from the Pro Business Channel studios in Atlanta. And now here's your host, Rich-Casanova.
All right, we are set for another exciting episode of Georgia Business Radio. We're live in our studios, in our Pro Business Channel studios in Buckhead. And this is a great episode we've had on the docket for a while. We've kicked around the idea, and you'll get the pun in just a moment. That's a pre-pun. I've never done a pre-pun before, yeah. So we're very excited to have a lot of conversations about this particular show. And occasionally we do what we call a spotlight episode, and this is a potential pilot series that could continue. And we'll share that information in just a moment. And I want to introduce the man in command. If anything goes wrong, Graham, it's all on you, buddy.
Oh, I thought I could blame you for all this, Rich. Yes.
Yeah, well, that'll cost you, yeah.
Well, we've been looking forward to this for many years.
Absolutely, yeah. We've known each other for many years, yeah.
5 years.
Yeah. And we're going to learn a little bit about you and your background, but before we jump into you, so the premise here is what we're spotlighting and kind of kicking around the idea of Soccer Talk Atlanta.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful concept and much needed throughout the Atlanta area. Yeah. We would like to be the platform for Georgia soccer, high school soccer, college soccer, club soccer, camps, tournaments.
Radio soccer, yeah.
Radio, yes.
Nobody brought in, I just realized, nobody brought in a soccer ball. You're not allowed to do that in the house, though, are you?
Well, we did.
I'm sure you did.
Done that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I have a soccer room in my house.
Oh, there you go, nice. He just trumps you. Sorry, buddy, yeah.
Love it.
Just our first one-up for the show here today. So let's jump right into it. I'm just going to introduce you and let you take the reins with this and roll with it. So Graham Tutt, we've just been chatting with, is going to be is right now the host of our new Soccer Talk show called SoccerTalkAtlanta.com. You can check out all the information there. The show will be covering all levels of Atlanta soccer, from the new MLS franchise owned by Mr. Arthur Blank himself, called the Atlanta United, to MLS soccer news, plus Atlanta Youth Club, high school, as you mentioned, college news from the Atlanta area. Graham, you were inducted to the Georgia Soccer Hall of Fame in 2012, and you're still glowing, right?
Oh, yes.
Did I say glowing or going?
You was there, in fact.
Oh, that's
that
right.
was the function that I invited you.
Nice.
That's the time I really wanted to impress you, and I thought that was
the highlight of my life till that point, yeah. But so, as a former 10-year professional goalkeeper, played in England, South Africa, and the US of A. Finished your career with the Atlanta Chiefs, winning the Southern Division over Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Yes.
All right, yeah. Sorry, Tampa Bay. Also, Fort Lauderdale Strikers, the Jacksonville T-Men. There's a team called the T-Men?
Yeah, they were sponsored by a tea company.
Unfortunately for them, yeah.
Yes.
Here we go. So, in 1981, the franchise was owned by the legendary Ted Turner.
Yes, he was an interesting character at the time. He was launching CNN.
Really?
So he came to some of our games, but he was losing $2 million a week, so he was focused on his CNN at the time.
I've known you for a long time. I didn't realize you're that big of a hobnobber and that famous.
No, I could drop names, and that's and soccer balls.
Okay, so finally, after retiring, Graham, you've opened the first indoor soccer facility in Georgia and a 26-acre, 8-field soccer complex in Cobb County.
Yes, it's now called NASA. I made it non-profit and handed it over to the parents.
Nice. And then operated executive vice president, Atlanta Attack Pro indoor soccer franchise, and served as a head coach of Life University for 9 years, garnering 3 national playoff appearances. And I think we're going to be hearing a few of these during the show, but I think it's about time for some applause. Graham, well done.
Oh, I love radio.
The crowd's going wild. And so finally, over 39,700 youths have participated in your soccer camps and programs since 1982. Graham, welcome to Soccer Talk Atlanta. It's all yours, man. Go.
Thank you, Rich. I certainly appreciate the introduction. Also, I've got a sidekick, or I would say soccer mate, Shawn Cartmill. He's going to be co-hosting the shows with me. And Shawn's got a quite impressive career himself. He played at Lakeside High School and was selected
right here in Atlanta, by the way.
Oh yes, yes, and also he was NCAA National Championship player, goalkeeper at Clemson University, and was named MVP in the Collegiate Championships. He saved 3 or 4 penalties in that match against the Mexican champions in 1985. Had an international experience by training at Leicester City, and also played at Stamford Bridge at Chelsea's ground for the second team. So Shawn certainly brings a bunch of experience, and I remember as well that he was 8-year college coach or assistant coach at Charleston with Ralph Lundy, and also the Charleston Battery for 2 years. He was with the Silverbacks, Atlanta Silverbacks here in Atlanta. So Shawn would be covering a lot of the college side of soccer, because that's his specialty, as well as would be doing club as well.
Looking forward to it.
Well, thanks for being here, Shawn, and being my sidekick or soccer mate or whatever.
I'm just glad to be here and glad to be a part of the show. It's awesome.
Yes, and you've got to introduce
I get to introduce Mr. Greg Griffith. Mr. Greg Griffith is the Georgia Soccer Executive Director, and he has been on the job for 2 years, and he is responsible for the operations and management of over 100,000 youth players and participants and members, and over 12,000 plus adult players. He manages all the soccer programs from the youth to the adult, plus tournaments and sponsors and press releases. A very, very busy guy, but we're really glad to have him here.
He's the busiest babysitter I know. Well done, Greg Griffith.
But we're just excited to have Mr. Greg Griffiths with us here, and I'd like to start you off with sort of a softball question, but what is the state of soccer in Georgia today?
Well, thanks for having me here, Shawn. Thanks, Graham, for having me here. I really appreciate it. Just so everyone knows, Georgia Soccer is the official state association of Georgia. So we are officially the Georgia State Soccer Association, known endearingly to everyone as Georgia Soccer. We represent U.S. soccer in Georgia, and things are great in Georgia right now. It's a very exciting time to be a part of soccer in Georgia. We've got a MLS team coming in, Atlanta United. We're actively working with an ownership group to recruit a National Women's Soccer League team to come into Atlanta to replace what used to be the Atlanta Beat, which was one of the most successful franchises in the National Women's Soccer League. We're seeking to replace the Silverbacks, who you played for in the NASL, and we're working with an ownership group to help bring in another NASL team to Atlanta, too. So it's an exciting time. You guys mentioned 100,000 participants. We've got about 90,000 youth players, which makes us the largest youth sport in Georgia. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people still think of Georgia as a football, baseball state. But at the youth level, we're by far and away the largest youth sport in Georgia.
And growing.
And growing. And we're growing at a rate of about 10% a year. And we really think that when Atlanta United comes in, with all the publicity and everything that'll go on around them, that we'll probably grow 20% that year, to be honest.
So, well, I've seen it grow. In 1980, when I arrived there was close to 12,000 kids playing.
Right.
So we've come a long way.
That's great.
It was 5 fields.
That's quite a growth. And not just growth numbers-wise, but quality-wise. We're, 2 years ago, we had 2 national championships from Georgia, which made us the only state besides California that had more than one at the youth level. In the National Women's Soccer League draft, we had the number 1 and number 7 draft pick in the first round were from Georgia. We had some male players drafted. Recently, Atlanta United signed 3 Georgia players, and now they're playing at the Charleston Battery, your old stomping grounds over there. And we had a player signed by Atletico Madrid recently. So we really have some quality players coming out of Georgia, and so not only quantity but quality. And the excitement around the Atlanta United team is you can really feel it around town. And Atlanta United's had almost over 28,000 season tickets signed up for, and those people are getting called right now, and what they're finding out is, hey, I signed up for 2, but I might want 4, and so really they're really looking at a really exciting time at Atlanta United.
So why do you think so many families are choosing to play soccer?
Well, Soccer's a great sport. Soccer, it appeals to boys and girls equally. You can be any size or shape. You could be 6'9", slow forward, goalie, or you can be, as everyone knows, Lionel Messi at 5'4". You don't have to be any shape or size. I just remember I played a lot of sports growing up, and I was a pretty good basketball player, but I'm 5'10", and I was never going to make it in the NBA.
Right.
I was a pretty good football player. I played, all conference football player in high school, but I played linebacker, and I'm 5'10", and I'm not like the guys in the NFL. So you see those guys; they're all big, they're all fast, they're all strong, and in soccer, it's a thinking man's sport. I think intelligent parents send their kids to play soccer. There's all kinds of things that say that, all kinds of studies that say that soccer gives the same kind of intelligence grooming as playing chess, because you have so many decisions, as you guys know. When you receive the ball, I've got so many different options of what I can do with it. It really helps grow your intelligence, quick thinking. I used to work at the U.S. Soccer Foundation, and we did some studies that actually proved that soccer reduces childhood obesity. So if you have overweight or obese children and you get them playing soccer, we'll get that obesity taken care of, no problem.
It's more than a game.
It's more than a game. We have coaches who serve as mentors for kids, and so, a lot of times your kids, especially my kids, will listen to their coach more than me, and their coach will tell them, hey, you got to eat something well, no fried food between the games, and you got to eat well, and they listen to that, and that's what makes soccer great as well.
In fact, we've got that planned for our future shows, a nutritional minute, sponsored by hopefully somebody. What's your favourite soccer club?
My favorite soccer club is whatever clubs my kids are playing for, plus Atlanta United. My son is just starting to play for Roswell High School, so go Hornets.
All right. So your boys now, they're in 7th and 9th grade, one's at Roswell and the one's in middle school.
That's correct, yeah.
And obviously love the game, and you get to watch them as much as possible, I take it.
I do. It's one of my favorite things to do that I can do is watch my kids play.
As a player, when you played in James Madison University, who was the best player you ever played against, say, at college?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. There were so many good players I played against back then, but I'd have to say probably the one that stands out is every year James Madison University, which is in Virginia, played the University of Virginia, and every time we played them, they were the number 1 ranked team in the country. So they had so many good players on their team, but I had to cover John Harkes every year, and John Harkes ended up being the first field player to play in the English Premier League. So I'd have to say he's probably the best I've ever played against.
I had the good fortune of playing against him and beating him.
Good for you. We never did beat him.
So he was the best player I've ever played against?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, all right. So do you think the US are going to win the World Cup, is my other thought of question.
Well, we already did win a World Cup. If you remember this summer, the women just won a World Cup. They're third, as a matter of fact. And we like to remind people that our women are the best in the world. So.
Yeah. And the men, how do you see them in future?
Well, the men, we really think that it's a fact that we're going to win it eventually. I think the players just coming out of Georgia, if you go to the fields, they're so much better than players were when I was a kid. And when you see the kids going over and playing against their English counterparts or their European counterparts, you see we can play with them now. So it's just a matter of time of putting that chemistry together on the field that puts a team together that can actually win it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. This country is producing magnificent athletes that have been going to other sports. Now I think they're starting to realise that they can get scholarships, male and female, in soccer, and that's been very attractive over the years.
Well, one of the interesting things, Graham, is that even 10 years ago, if you asked the average teenage kid who's playing, what do you want to do? He would say, I want to get a college scholarship. Now you ask the average teenage boy, at least, what do you want to do? They say, I want to play pro. I want to be a professional soccer player. And I think those opportunities exist.
Yeah, I think the media have picked up on this. We used to struggle with media desperately to get on the front page. I think the Atlanta Chiefs got on the front page twice, was when they opened and when they closed.
Yeah, few people remember the Atlanta Chiefs were the first championship that Atlanta ever had and the first professional championship.
Yeah,
so
I'm
cheers to you.
I'm glad to say I didn't play on the original Atlanta Chiefs. I played on the second Atlanta Chiefs.
Okay.
But in 1966, Phil Woosnam, Boy Matang, these are old names, but they're still remembered in Atlanta. And Dick Cecil, I was talking to him at the Georgia Soccer Banquet on Saturday. He's trying to get everybody to recognise, and he was the president of the Atlanta Braves, that the first championship team to come out of Georgia was a soccer team.
Yeah.
And I'll add just briefly that Manfred Kammer, the goalkeeper for that team, was one of my mentors growing up, and the first person who taught me any technique at all. He was really instrumental for me.
Yeah. So if I've got a kid who wants to play soccer, how do I contact you?
If you have a kid who wants to play soccer, you can go to the Georgia Soccer website at georgiasoccer.org, and we have a club locator. So that club locator will basically send you to you put in a zip code, and it'll show you where you can go to find a club where you can play soccer.
Oh, I think that's tremendous. And your website is real friendly as well. I've been onto it several times. I'm looking at it, in fact, right now.
But I can tell you a story, Graham, real quick, that one of the things, when we're going to win the World Cup, one of the best players I ever played with was a good friend of mine, and he ended up being the player of the year in soccer. He tried out for the U.S. national team, scored a goal, had an assist, and then went on to play professional football. And when we get those players staying with soccer, that's when we win the World Cup.
Yes. We've had a lot of lads here that have ended up kickers in the NFL, and it's a shame. The money's attracted them and the limelight. But as you say, the media have changed now for us.
That's right.
Yeah, so.
Especially with the MLS coming, very excited about that.
Refereeing, coaches courses. Do you offer coaches courses, refereeing courses?
Absolutely. We offer hundreds of coaching courses and refereeing courses. In fact, Georgia has one of the highest levels, highest percentage of coaches with their coaching license in the United States. So again, you can find out when those courses are, and people make a good living. We know people that are teachers that actually make more money refereeing than teaching, and they're able to do that. So and there's a referee shortage. So if you out there are listening and you want to earn a few extra dollars, please come and take a referee course, and we need you out there, especially
it would be
adult
appreciated.
referees.
It would be appreciated, really.
Yeah, Jacob Daniels is your coaching director, and we was talking earlier. He received an award. What was that award?
So our director of coaching, Jacob Daniel, has been at Georgia Soccer for over 23 years, and he recently received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Soccer Coaches Association of America for a lifetime achievement for just doing what he's been doing, and he's really to thank for that high level of coaching licensing and high level of play. He's also the Region 3, U.S. Soccer Region 3 Technical Director for the Olympic Development Program.
Yeah, he's been totally dedicated to the game. Him and his wife, I think his wife is, she's been working at Georgia Soccer for the last 20-odd years.
Yeah, Tara actually works with us as well. Yeah, they make quite a dynamic duo.
And I've got to mention your secretary or assistant, Suzanne
Donahue is great. She really
Donahue.
keeps us all together. And the whole staff at Georgia Soccer is fantastic. I think anyone that calls in or deals with us can say our staff is top notch.
How many people are on staff?
We have 11 full-time employees now. Yeah.
That's a great team. I've met most of them, and I think loyalty and dedication to the game, wonderful. It's great to see.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate
They're
you
all
guys.
dedicated.
Yes, it's, and we want to talk a little bit about our show that's coming for the next 3 months, 4 months, we hope, with sponsorships. That's what we're looking for at the present time. We've got special features, as Rich mentioned earlier, as regards not only we cover the Atlanta United MLS team, but the MLS in general and the Atlanta area college soccer, high school soccer, club soccer, youth teams, regarding camps, tournaments, registrations, referee and coaches courses, highlighting teams each week for Georgia Soccer Team of the Week, Player of the Week. We've even got a Soccer Mum Tip of the Week. Hopefully that'll be sponsored by a food chain store. I don't want to mention Publix or Kroger's.
Not too loud.
Or a nutritional tips. What to eat before a game, what to eat after a game. Hopefully that'll be sponsored by a healthcare organisation, and also soccer equipment tips. I think that's extremely important to have the right equipment, and there's a lot of equipment offered out there now. And also what's happened over the last few years is international soccer travel. That's been incredible, the amount of teams leaving Georgia to go to London to play in tournaments, visit Chelsea, Arsenal, or my old team, Charlton Athletic. I've got to give them a plug.
That sounds fantastic, doesn't it? Everyone should do that, right?
Yeah, it's so influential. I remember as a 10-year-old, my first soccer match, my dad took me back in the dressing rooms to meet some of the players. That was the most impressive thing in my life, and that inspired me from 10 years old to want to go pro.
It's a real advantage we have at soccer. You can't go overseas and see a lot of professional other sports, but soccer, it's bigger and overseas, so it's an experience that everyone should take advantage of.
Yeah, and what happened here in the late 70s, a lot of international players came over and played in the NASL, which was known then as Pele's League. And we got a special feature, Memory Lane feature. We introduce players or reintroduce players that played here many years ago, back in the 60s in the original Atlanta Chiefs, and also players that played when I played back in the 80s, and get their take on their development and how they saw the game way back then.
Well, I'm excited to be part of this process, and I think there are so many facets to Georgia soccer and so many levels. I think it's hard these days to not run into sports fans who don't have a particular EPL English Premier League team where they say, "Oh, I'm a Man United fan," or "I'm a Chelsea fan," or even the Seattle teams. I mean, you see them on ESPN, and the crowds go crazy. And I'm so excited about the MLS coming and the spirit and excitement that's going to bring to enhance soccer and bring even more players and more talent and help our national teams really advance.
I wonder where they're going to play for the first 3 months, because evidently the stadium has been what do we say? Delayed. My chair's dropping down.
I believe they're going to try to possibly do a all away game for the first half of the season, and then all home for the second half of the season. Oh. So that should be an interesting involvement of this.
Just teething problems, but and I think they're playing on AstroTurf as well.
They will, yeah.
I wonder how the regular community accept. I hope they accept that. Okay, it's grass has always been the favourite.
Well, but especially down here in Georgia, the fields here are fantastic. You've got Bermuda grass that you can play on like a golf green. And I remember when I grew up, I just played on rocks and dirt. You probably did as well. So we're very lucky. But yeah, the turf these days, the top of the line turf, sometimes plays like grass. So yes, I think it'll be a great experience.
I think all the events that go on at half time nowadays, that's part of the show, isn't it?
Right.
It's
absolutely.
Oh, good. So is there anything you got there?
I wanted to just say a word. We found out news today that Jim Smith, who's been on our board for quite a few years and is the executive vice president for the Falcons and also for Arthur Blank's new businesses, including Atlanta United, he just took a new job today for Ohio State. He's going to be running their alumni association. I just wanted to wish Jim best wishes and good luck, Jim.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's done a lot for soccer and, of course, the Falcons. I would like to call of action, how people can get involved. How do they get involved in soccer with Georgia Soccer?
Well, again, you can go to our website, georgiasoccer.org, and you can go on the club locator and find any club. But you can just go out to any soccer field and really just go up and say, hey, I want to get involved, bring your kids out there. And the other thing you can do is just play. Soccer's a sport that you can just play soccer anywhere. And if you get good enough, we want you to get on a team and
you
play.
Can can be at any level. If you want to be gung ho and really work at it every day and train every day, you can get out and you can do that. But also, if it's just the weekend where you just want to get out and knock the ball around and meet some people and have a good time and be social, that's also a great component of what soccer is here in Atlanta.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
So there are people out there, get involved. And there's a telephone number as well. Some people like to call and they don't like to go on websites. I'm a little bit like that sometimes. Find out information. Is it 770-452-0505?
You can call that number. We've got plenty of numbers. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Not your cell phone number. You won't give that one out.
No, we won't give out that.
Well, this is we are totally delighted, Greg Griffith from Georgia Soccer, being here, and also Shawn as my sidekick or teammate, I should say. And I think this could be the start of something big. We really want to be a weekly platform for Georgia Soccer at all levels of the game, and invite special guests like yourself who know about the game.
Well, our season starts March 6th, so we're 2 weeks away, and if anybody wants to play, they can go out there. And this summer is just loaded full of summer. You got the Euro Championships, you've got the Olympics. Hopefully, the men's and women's teams will be playing in that. You have the Champions League. You've got the Copa America, which the U.S. men's soccer team will be playing in. And Georgia Soccer has a Georgia Soccer Supporters Club. So if you want to get out and watch television, watch some games, it's a family-friendly, unlike some of the other soccer supporters clubs. You can come in, join Georgia Soccer Supporters Club. Go, bring your family out and watch some games and support everybody and support Atlanta United.
That's exactly what we want to be, Greg. We want to highlight the best college game of the week to go and watch, and highlight the best high school game of the week, or the best playoff game of the week in high school, or club soccer. But all this takes money, so that's why this is my Georgia Public Television, almost like begging 30 seconds. But we've got wonderful topics that we can get sponsored, hopefully. Say soccer team, a soccer mum tip of the week is a perfect for a food chain, or a nutritional tips, what to eat, how to eat before a game, soccer equipment. All this can be obviously sponsored by a local chain soccer store or a national company. And also international soccer travel tips, that's big. So we hope to have a travel company sponsor us. I'm talking to Billy Hartman. I won't mention Billy's company yet because he's not a sponsor, but if Billy gets on board, we could really help them and they'll help us. And hopefully we're a great platform for Georgia Soccer and Greg Griffiths, and we wish you very much the best.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you again for joining Rich Casanova and our guests on the Pro Business Channel. Use the social media links here to share today's show, and stay tuned for the next episode of Georgia Business Radio.